Hello everyone, I'm Matt Mitridge, the alternate historian. Do you guys remember Resistance Radio?
For those who don't know, Resistance Radio is a fake online radio station created by Amazon to promote their award-winning alternate history series, The Man in the High Castle. It featured underground DJs broadcasting out of the neutral zone, the strip of land in the show between the Japanese Pacific states and the American right, where they rallied the resistance against the Nazis and the Japanese by urging everyone to fight back and stand up for the American ideals of freedom and liberty.
So of course, conservatives thought it was about Trump.
In what can be called a modern Orson Welles' World of the Worlds-esque panic, Trump supporters on Twitter blasted Resistance Radio for promoting a left-wing, liberal, anti-Trump agenda. Some critics even went as far as to say that such a station could never compete with right-wing radio show hosts like Rush Limbaugh. Granted, when many pointed out that Resistance Radio was fake and just a glorified ad campaign, many deleted their post. But some Trumpinistas doubled down on their criticism of liberals, dismissing the egg on their face by saying it was still worth it for the opportunity to tell the quote-unquote truth to all those leftists out there. Now, some might be wondering why I'm talking about this incident, which, to be fair, happened weeks ago, and many have probably forgotten all about it. Well, on the one hand, I take a certain sick pleasure in mocking people who confuse alternate history for real history. On the other hand, now is a great time to analyze what happened when people have cooled off and emotions are no longer running high.
So the important question to ask is, why did Trump supporters think a fake anti-Nazi radio station was all about the president?
Well, to be fair, the terms resistance and resist have been popular among anti-Trump activists on social media who oppose his policies. Thus, seeing something called Resistance Radio could have triggered Trump supporters into thinking it was just more anti-Trump criticism. It also doesn't help that there were some liberal activists on Twitter who used the hashtag Resistance Radio out of context to blast Trump. Still, this does mean those Trump supporters didn't bother to read past the headline, since even a few seconds of research would have told them the truth. And in the age of fake news, it's on all of us, regardless of political affiliation, to be vigilant about what we read on the internet.
But what about Amazon? Do they deserve any of the blame for the confusion around Resistance Radio?
Let's be honest, Amazon couldn't have dreamed of a better reaction to Resistance Radio. Dozens of news sites covered the fallout on Twitter, and this meant free advertising for the Man in the High Castle. Even Resistance Radio producer Sam Cohen, in an interview with Newsweek, said he found the incident funny and assumed people didn't bother listening to the station before overreacting to it. That said, in that same interview, Sam mentioned that Resistance Radio was produced after the 2016 election, and many of the people working on the project were upset about the results, and that did in part inspire them. So even if Resistance Radio isn't about Trump, it certainly is in the same spirit of those who oppose him.
And yet I can't deny how unsettling the reaction was to Resistance Radio from Trump supporters.
Before I continue, I'm not trying to be unfair to conservatives out there. Don't forget, I once mocked liberals for thinking this map of an alternate history where Europeans never colonized North America was actually a map of pre-Columbian North America. So remember that before you call me a cuck or say I should suck a Muslim dick.
Yes, those are comments I have actually received from people.
Because the phrase, doth protest too much, comes to mind when I think more about this. I mean, what if Resistance Radio really was an online radio station that preached about how Nazis are bad and we should resist fascism? Doesn't believing it's about Trump mean him and his supporters are actually fascists? I mean, what other reason would you have for opposing anti-fascists if you weren't a fascist yourself? Trump supporters really put themselves in a no-win situation here. Either they are acting like sensitive snowflakes who need a safe place because they can't handle a joke, or they are fascists and will condemn anything, real or fictional, that criticizes their ideology. And considering how Trump supporters are now criticizing Hulu's adaptation of Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale for some of the same reasons they criticize Resistance Radio, I'm not entirely convinced this was just one big misunderstanding for everyone. Granted, I fully admit I may be making a bigger deal out of this than I should. Perhaps it was just a case of not being able to tell alternate history from real life. Regardless, you guys should check out Resistance Radio. I still find it to be a pretty cool expansion of the Man in the High Castle universe, and I look forward to what Amazon is planning to do next.
Well, that is off the same subject. If you like what I do, please comment, subscribe, share this video, support me on Patreon. I'm Matt Mitridge, the alternate historian. Bye.